Welcome to the Third Generation Wrestling Podcast with your hosts, Eric and Rob.
Welcome in, everybody, to the Third Generation Wrestling Podcast, 3GW. Your boy, the real Big E here. And just want to talk real quick and review the A&E WWE biography, this series. I know this is the second season, and one of my all-time favorites, got an episode. And, of course, I got to talk about it, you know. However, I will be doing. My plan is to do all of them. I have Undertaker's episode recorded, so I'm going to watch his as well and do a review on that too. These things are like 2 hours long. Even though I fast forward through the commercials, it's still going to take at least an hour or so. And my time as of late is limited, hence the limited content. But I'm doing my best. All right. I know that in the wrestling realm, that my man Goldberg here is a how do I put this? People are split. All right, you kind of you love the guy or you hate him. And I don't mean the guy, the character, so to speak. Excuse me. My history is when I first started watching wrestling, I started with WCW. For those that don't know, 1998. I started watching on Saturday, actually. It was a TBS Saturday night WCW, and I know Goldberg had a few matches. I started watching Nitro and Thunder, and I believe the first time I saw him was on Thunder, actually, because I heard the music, and I'm like, whoa, who is this coming out? And this big dude came out with these traps up to his freaking ears, and he didn't have the whole entrance yet. He was still new, and it's like, whoa, this dude's humongous. I never seen anybody have what are these muscles up here, And it's how he mowed down the competition. It was crazy, 1998, for perspective, I was 11. And didn't know anything about kayfabe, didn't know anything about none of that stuff. So it was all real to me, damn it. So, getting into what I liked about the documentary. I think that if you consider yourself in between on Goldberg, like you don't dislike him, but you don't really care for his wrestling style either. He doesn't really have a good move set. They talk about that too in here. I think you'll enjoy this because you'll learn some things about the man that you didn't know before. His backstory, especially with his NFL career, how he met his wife, and how having a son impacted his decision to return to wrestling and all that good stuff. They get pretty deep. There are some things they didn't touch on that I was hoping they would. I've seen so many documentaries on the guy, but there are a few things that I want to make sure I make mention of. I don't know if you would call it even. It's a documentary. Can you spoil a documentary? Can you? I don't know. But one of the big things I know people will remember, and this is one of my favorite memories, is when he first won the world championship off Hulk Hogan. In the documentary, they put it on as if Hulk Hogan came up with the idea, like, oh yeah, we need a replacement for me because I'm getting old and nobody really cares about me. Like, I'm not. Maybe that was the case, but if you know your Hulk Hogan history, he was not one to like to put people over. So I'm gonna go with that. The company saw what they had and they struck while the iron was hot because they couldn't just keep running over regular people. And I remember watching this match. It was two matches that night. He had to beat Scott Hall to even get to the main event to face Hogan. So he had to wrestle twice. And I was just glued to the TV. That was one of my favorite nights of watching wrestling ever. Um, and it was just surreal seeing him win the championship, hold up both belts, and the way the crowd went nuts. Like it wasn't a handful of people like it is today. There was nothing split. It was the Georgia Dome, packed stadium, and everybody was in Goldberg's corner. It was insanity. So if anybody out there wondering why Goldberg ever rose to fame, how he rose to fame, you need to watch this documentary. And I guess if you didn't grow up in that time, you wouldn't get it. We didn't have the internet. There was no sites to check. You weren't in the know. You just had to watch and you got what you got. And I loved that. I miss those days. Um, that was a great night. I would never forget the night that Goldberg won both titles. It was summertime. I know because I was able to stay up and watch all 3 hours of Nitro. Uh, and of course, that I think he won 73-0 was the streak. And so once you become champ, you can't wrestle mid card guys anymore. You got to wrestle the big time guys: Sting, DDP, Jericho, uh, and of course Big Daddy Cool, Kevin Nash. And I guess they felt like the character had run its course or starting to, and they wanted to keep Goldberg interesting. And they had this match. Everybody knows that this match happened December 27th, 1998, Goldberg's birthday. And yeah, he took his first loss. Looking back, I don't think it was a bad idea. How they handled it afterwards was god awful. I would have brought him back like they did on Nitro, and I would have had the attack like they did on Nitro, and they spray painted him and everything, and then I would have had him go away after that. You conquered Goldberg, so to speak. Let's let this breathe. Take him off TV, and then bring him back. Have him return to save the day from the NWO, and let the fans embrace him again. Like, oh, he's back. But that's not what they did. They kept him on and kept him going, but he wasn't as interesting anymore. That is until he ran into the best there is, the best there was, and the best there ever will be. That's right. For all y'all wondering, these two were once upon a time tag team champions in WCW, but they were also opponents and enemies. I remember on Nitro, like the first time they met, Bret Hart out there talking shit. Goldberg comes out, spears Bret Hart, knocks him out cold. We're like, what the hell happened? And Bret gets up and he lifts up his shirt and he reveals he's got a steel plate on. And so that knocked out Goldberg and he rolled him over and he did his own 1, 2, 3. It's like, I'm smarter than this guy. Um, and I like that. It made it for an intriguing match. At the 1 year later, Starrcade again, Bret Hart, Goldberg. Unfortunately, the things that people remember from that match is not the match. It's and to my surprise, Bret Hart is in this documentary. I couldn't believe it, but of course he's being Bret. Bret saying that he told Goldberg that the one thing, just don't hurt me when you go out there. All jokes aside, I think everybody knows 300-pound former lineman is he can hurt you. Okay. And they went out there and did the match. Bret saying that Goldberg missed the spot, and which caused Brett to fall and hit his head. And well, you didn't have to do that move on the ring post, but okay, fine. And then the notorious kick to the head that he said Bill called for the kick, and he put a little too much on it, and Brett was concussed, a concussion which would have a ripple effect on his life, including him having a stroke. Um, I get it. That is life altering, life changing in not a good way. But at some point in time, not for Goldberg, but for Brett, he's got to forgive and let go of this. I mean, I get he lost money too. I get all of that, but to have peace as a man, you gotta let go. That's something. Shit, man, we coming up on 30 years ago. That shit happened almost. But who am I to tell somebody when they get over something, right? They do touch on that one year he went to WWE, how it wasn't a success. Especially the whole WrestleMania match, the first time that him and Brock Lesnar would wrestle. I mean, it only made sense for them to lock up. I always thought when Brock Lesnar came that he was a Goldberg like lookalike. So to me, it made sense to bring them, had those two wrestle. The match unfortunately suffered because that was around the time that the internet was getting hip to the dirt sheets and finding things out. And the crowd knew that Goldberg's contract was up and that Brock Lesnar was leaving for the NFL. It was well known he was going to try for the Vikings. The crowd did not give this match a chance at all. It should have been a knockdown, drag out brawl between these two Goliaths, and it just was not. Unfortunately, one of the worst WrestleMania matches you'll ever see. Not necessarily the match, the wrestling, but the crowd did not care. They were not going to, and it's in Madison Square Garden. They were not going to give it a fair shot. They just weren't. And of course, to touch on his return, most recent return back in 2016. Now a 50-year-old man and trying to come back for his family and be Goldberg again, because his wife never got to see him be Goldberg and his son never got to see him be Goldberg. And I thought the first run was great. He came back, he beat Brock, he was in the Rumble for a little bit. I was there when he won the Universal Championship off Kevin Owens in Milwaukee. I was there. Crowd was going nuts for him. And I thought that it was appropriate ending him lose finally, Brock getting the win over him at Mania. And then next year he went to the Hall of Fame. Fitting. I was good. I was as a Goldberg fan, I was good. I felt closure. I felt like it was, they did right by him, and that's all I needed. Fortunately, and they don't touch on a lot of this stuff, but the matches he had after getting inducted. I mean, the one versus Ziggler and the second Bobby Lashley match. I'll throw in the Drew McIntyre match too as a good match. Everything else versus Bray Wyatt, the Undertaker match, the first Bobby Lashley match. Just stop. I was ready for it to be done. And but I thought that overall the documentary was well done. Didn't really mean to get this long winded with it, but I just thought that I wanted to come on here and just share my thoughts on it as a Goldberg fan. And I like I said, I will be doing another one of these with Undertaker, as that's one I have recorded already. I think they're doing Edge. I know they're doing Edge as well as I think Rey Mysterio, Kurt Angle, the Bellas, And I think there's one more that I can't think of at the moment, but yeah, strongly recommend it. I recommend anything A&E does as far as documentaries. I used to watch it growing up, when they did celebrities and stuff. One of my favorite ones they ever did was one for Red Fox. But I used to watch A&E all the time for just for the biographies. It's great, very well done, and I do recommend it. So thank y'all for watching. Check us out on social media. Third Generation Wrestling Podcast on Instagram, Twitter is podcast_third. Email us at thirdgenwrestling@gmail.com. All your thoughts, questions, suggestions, and recommendations. And give us feedback for sure. We are on TikTok. I've been busy with work, which is why I haven't put anything new on TikTok. I'm actually working on some content specifically just for Peacock. I mean Peacock, Lord Jesus, TikTok. It's late. it's 11 o'clock and I'm recording stuff just for y'all. So TikTok, gonna be coming up with making some content specifically for that. So yeah, always working on making stuff entertainment for the people. Enjoy, y'all. Have a great week. SummerSlam prediction show will probably be tomorrow, I'm guessing. Have to get the ambassador on here. And then Saturday night, for sure, got the day off. We'll be going live immediately after SummerSlam. Hopefully it's not till midnight. But yes, we'll be doing our live post show. So far as myself and the ambassador, Doc Stevens has said he will be in the building. We'll see. So take care, everybody. Stay safe out there. Peace.